Slayers, I'm the world's coolest Sega enthusiast, SEGASLAYER64, and welcome to a bit of a different type of video today. So I usually don't make these type of videos, and I'm going to close this out because I didn't mean to do that. I usually don't make I do make SEGASLAYER64 complains, but I usually don't make two of them on a similar topic, usually. So this is going to be that one-time exception where I do that, and we're just going to, you can probably tell by that right there what I'm actually going to be making this topic on really quickly, but I'm just looking for something really quickly. What should we go with? Because we're going to be playing a game, and I'm going to be talking. Oh yeah, we got to go with Road Rash. We have to go with Road Rash, but, yeah, I usually don't make, this is going to be a type of a different video because I'm a little bit, let's just say upset right now about what has happened recently. And by recently, I mean just a few seconds ago, and I might have gave it away already, I might have didn't, and I'm even more upset now because I just cut my controller off, meaning I have to restart the emulator. Fun, right? Totally fun. No, it's not really fun. No, in reality, we're going to be complaining about something completely different today. It's something I usually, I've complained about this once before, but you might remember a previous video I've done called The Problem with Android Emulation, right? And I really just want to make this video right here as like it's a very improvised video, so that's why I'm like, if I seem like I'm just kind of doing just kind of rambling on, keep in mind I literally just like pressed record, and just right after what already happened, I already tried to record part of a video and then things didn't work out, so I just pressed record, and I'm just going off of how I'm kind of feeling right now about this, because okay, so let's roll this back a week or two or so, something similar to that. I had in my mind, right, that I was going to play Doom for the Sega Saturn. I said it in a few videos. I said, okay, I'm going to be playing Doom for the Sega Saturn. I'm going to gladly go ahead and play that, and it's going to be fun. And also, this is Road Rash. If you've never seen this game before, this is Road Rash for the Sega Saturn. I went back and I did a video on this game a while ago. It's actually really good, and you should play it. But no, I had made up in mind that I was going to do a whole video. I came up with everything I was going to say in the video and do in the video. Well, and it was going to be my first impression because I've never played Doom for the Sega Saturn, and I was so ready to play it and hop in, and because it's always been called the worst port of Doom next to the SNES port of Doom, so I was like, okay, well, I need to try this out. I need to do a video on this. It's the perfect chance for me to do more content on my favorite console of all time, play more games from my favorite console of all time, and all around just have a blast playing the Sega Saturn, regardless of how bad the game was, and make a few jokes about it being the worst game of all time and things like that. And things didn't pan out. Okay, so I go and I get the emulator around, and the thing is, right, this needs to be said about emulation on PC, right? Emulation on PC is extremely good. I'm not saying emulation on PC is bad. No. Don't think emulation on PC is bad at all. It's extremely good, but it's not that much better than the Android version, if that makes sense. It's like, okay, as far as Sega Saturn emulation goes, right, I don't find too many. I've been searching for a while, and I can't find what seems, I hear people say the Saturn emulation is coming along, it's starting to get better, more and more titles are starting to work in. Where's this all at? Because I can't seem to find it, man. All I can find is, Yaba Sanshiro, which is the emulator I'm using right now, and the problem is, the emulator I'm using right now is a very old emulator, meaning it doesn't even get updates, really. I don't think it gets updates at all, because I haven't gotten an update for it ever, so maybe you have to go back to the website and check on it every once in a while. But it's like, okay, it's a really old emulator, and it works okay, but it doesn't work that good because, okay, it has its own problems. A lot of emulators on PCs have problems, like, it'll be the dumbest problems. Oh my god, I'm so slow. It'll be the dumbest problems you would never expect. Like, for example, I have a few emulators, right, like Fusion, right, where Fusion I don't know if you know Kega Fusion, you know, the the most popular Sega Genesis emulator on PC, 32X Game Gear Master System. I use it for all of that. It works really good. Sega CD as well. I haven't done any Sega CD content yet, but I do want to do some Sega CD content in the future, and we will do that in the future. But no, it's a pretty good emulator. The problem is, it randomly stops working from time to time, and you'll wonder, hey, why is my emulator stop work? Why did my emulators just stop working? It won't even open randomly, and other people have had this problem too. It's all over. It's all online. So if you want to go read about it, you can go read about it. But the emulator gets updated pretty frequently. Oh, did I actually get first? I actually got first. It gets updated pretty frequently. You know what I'm saying? But it does this weird thing where it'll eventually create like a configuration file for itself, right? And then whenever it does that, the emulator won't open. Now, explain to me, why does this randomly happen? And you're not gonna, when it first happens to you, like, okay, lucky for me, like, right? Okay, so I'm because emulators are a little bit finicky from time to time, and I'll never expect emulation on any platform to be perfect, you know what I'm saying? All emulation is gonna have problems, and I always thank emulator developers in general. You guys are really cool, man. You do some really cool stuff and make some really cool stuff, but it's like, dude, like, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying this out of anger. I love emulators, but I'm saying this out of kind of annoyance, just the fact that I had this video set up for a while and it just didn't work, and it's like, okay, Kega Fusion, once it does what it does with that configuration file, when you do it the first time, now I was saying originally that, okay, so because I'm a bit paranoid about emulators, I always keep at least two installations of one emulator on my PC, and I just do this just because I prefer, just because of reasons like Kega Fusion, where if, you know, when it first happened to me, right, I didn't know what was going on. It just randomly stopped working one day. It was just like, nah, you know what, we're done. You're done. And that was my first installation. So like the main installation I used of the emulator, it just kind of stopped working, and and I didn't know yet that it was the configuration file. In fact, I didn't find that out until I did a deep search online and happened to find someone who finally said, hey, this is the problem, get rid of the configuration file. I took a risk and that fixed all the problems, and I haven't had problems with it since. But it's just like, really, dude? And that happened in the middle of while I was trying to record a video, so I had to end up, and I don't remember what video it was I was trying to record, because I probably didn't end up recording it till way later on, and I'm gonna die. That's so dumb. But, not die, but, well, actually, maybe I might die, but no, I don't remember what video it technically was, but I was going to make a video based off, I think it was a Sega Genesis game, might have been Master System, but I think it was Genesis, and out of nowhere, the emulator just didn't work. Now, since this being my first time dealing with this problem, I don't know why it just stopped working, and guess what? Guess what happened? My controller cut off. Further proof, and we're gonna get to this right here. We're gonna get to this in a second, because, oh boy, do I have some stuff to say about this, because I'm pretty upset about the fact that every time my controller cuts off, I have to restart the whole emulator, or it'll never register it again. So that's you know, you have to imagine that's pretty fun, but no. It randomly stopped working, so I had to end up using our backup one. But then again, the backup one eventually stopped working after a little bit, and I'm like, why does this keep happening to me? What am I doing wrong? All I'm trying to do is, you know, use the emulator, record some videos, and go on about my day. Why does the emulator stop working? So I decided at this point, you know, that's two of them down. I said, screw it, I'm not getting another one. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to research it, and after searching online, I figured out it was the configuration file, and I fixed the second one, went back and deleted the configuration file and fixed the second one. Now that configuration file came back, but it hasn't seemed to glitch Fusion yet, so, you know, maybe it's a one-time thing, maybe it's not, we'll see. But every time it does that, right, it resets all of my settings in the emulator, meaning all settings that I originally had stored in that configuration file, they're all all gone. And so whenever you delete a configuration file, all of the settings that you have revert back to normal, and you have to change them again. And you have to imagine sometimes when you're in a rush to record and things like that happens, it can really upset you, man, because it's like, okay, I'm in a rush to record and I have to hurry up and go do research to see what's wrong, and I just barely dodged that car. Go do some research to see what's wrong, try and fix the problem, and then come back. And that's you have to do that every time the configuration file screws up. And so I was like, okay, well, is this the problem that happened with the first emulator, right? With the first installation of Sega? And I was like, okay, I'm gonna see if this is what happened with the first installation of Fusion. And I go and I delete the configuration file, and sure enough, guess what? It was the configuration file, and now my first installation of Fusion works. Problem is, I don't need it anymore because now I use the second installation like as my main installation. I have it pinned to my taskbar and everything. So the first installation has now become the second installation, basically, because it's the backup one. But still, it's just like, really, dude, all that hassle for nothing. Why does it do that? And and then there's no instructions for this, right? Like, okay, because I know this isn't just a me problem on that specific emulator, because I have like I said, I've read online and there's a solution to it online. So if the developer kind of knew this was a problem, you know what I'm saying, why was a fix not registered or something done to at least preserve your settings? Like, dude, they just all disappear. And sure, it's not, it's not too much of a hassle to change your settings back to the way you had them, but it is a bit tedious and repetitive when you have to keep doing that over and over and over again. It gets on my nerves, and I've only had to do it once so far, like I said, for both emulators, but you never know if it's gonna happen again. So, and these are like, okay, so I'm just talking about emulation in general. So next I think I'm going to move on to Dreamcast emulation, because that has a problem too. Now, Dreamcast emulation's problem is a lot simpler than the problem of something like Fusion or something like that, because with Dreamcast emulation, the only thing that happens is every time you get on the emulator, you have to remap the menu button. It's a mandatory feature of Redream, and you have to do this. And I found I only have to do it on both mobile and on PC. So that's a bit of a complaint there. It's a bit annoying to have to do that twice. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, twice I have to do it, and it's a minor annoyance. So, it's a minor annoyance, but whenever I have to restart the emulator or get on the emulator, I have to redo it again, and that kind of gets old eventually. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I also found when I get on Redream, randomly my games just won't show up. And like, okay, another nitpick about Redream while I'm at it, and this is technically a problem with the Android version of the game, but I haven't tried this on PC yet, but it happens to me on the Android version. The game will not allow you, the emulator will not allow you to launch it without having Wi-Fi. If you do not have internet, you cannot launch the game, launch the emulator, period. I don't know why it does this. Personally, I don't understand why it does this. Now, I haven't tried this on PC, and I might try that. I'm gonna try that soon enough. Next time I'm probably play a Dreamcast game or review a Dreamcast game, and I did extremely bad this time just because I wasn't paying attention, and I gotta be careful with my controller. And we're gonna get to the Saturn emulation in a second, but it's like, that's another problem I think that emulator has. And I'm not just listing, like I said, this video was just kind of an anything video because I kind of had to improvise to make this, and that's why I'm just kind of basing this off of how I'm feeling because of these emulators. But like, that's a problem with Redream. That's kind of, those are two problems with Redream that's kind of annoying, but one of those is kind of based on mobile, and I haven't tried it on PC yet, so I'll come back to that. But no, we're getting to the main vocal point of this video, and that's Sega Saturn emulation. I hate this emulator, Yaba Sanshiro. I hate it because I only could find an older version of the emulator, and the thing is, it's still on mobile and it's still getting updates, but on PC, I can't find a single update for this emulator. I've tried, trust me, I've tried multiple times. I would love to ditch this older one. If anyone knows, if you know about, did I just have a voice crack? If anyone knows about knows a lot about emulation like I do, and you know of a good Sega Saturn emulator out there that's better than this, because this is like, from what I always known, the poster boy of Sega Saturn emulation. Personally, that's just what I've always heard and seen, so I don't know if it's true or not, man. Just off topic a bit, but like Road to Rash on Sega Saturn really looks nice, man. Like the 3D polygons for the floor just look great. But yeah, I hate this emulator. It's just super annoying, and when I list some of the problems it has, you'll start to understand. So number one, the first problem, and this is the main problem you've heard me talk about forever, is if you use an Xbox One controller, because I use an Xbox One controller for everything, because it's one of my favorite controllers of all time, personally, this and the 360 controller, because they're just so universally good in every way. And the thing is, you can apply, compared to something like, I hate PlayStation controllers. We all know I hate PlayStation controllers. That's one of the main reasons I hate PlayStation as a whole. The controllers are just like so uncomfortable to hold. The sticks are in a weird place, and it's just so dumb the way PlayStation controllers are designed, and still tend to keep their. I think really to this day, Sony really only hangs on to the design of a PlayStation controller just to have so-called brand identity, because the Xbox controller has been proven to be more superior in every way, period. And it's not like it's a trademark design, because so many other companies do it, so why has Sony not like adopted this? And they do make official Xbox style controllers, I know that, and they're expensive, but it's like, dude, why have they not just, and even they know, because like I said, they make official Xbox type style controllers for the PlayStation 4 and 5, so why, well not 5, but the PlayStation 4, why is it that you can't just make an Xbox style controller for the PlayStation? Is it just because you would rather keep your brand identity or keep your fanboys happy? I don't know, but I use the Xbox One controller, and it's so easy to use on PC, no problems, because this is like Microsoft's controller, so it works great on Windows, and also Windows 11 is coming up soon, so I hope if you're a PC player, you're excited, because I am. I'm ready to upgrade. I already have enough storage cleared to upgrade day one, so I'm ready. I think it was 25, but no. Yeah, so the Xbox One controller is the default controller that works directly with PC. It works with most games, if not all games. No, most games. It works with most games flawlessly. You just plug it in and play. Even the same for emulators, although you do have to map your buttons. Now, this emulator right here has a problem. Sometimes I use, my PC, right? My controller, I have a rare Minecraft creeper controller, right? But the sync button on the controller is broken, right? So I have to use my controller wired. Now, sometimes using a controller wired, the cord of the controller will pop out, okay? It just happens sometimes, or you'll trip the cord, or the controller will unconnect, just something stupid like that, right? Now, normally in most games, that's fine. You get a message, or even in an emulator, your character will just stop moving, something simple like that, you know what I'm saying? And you go on about your day. Now, in this emulator, whenever the controller disconnects, even just for a few seconds, did I roll off the hill and die? I just immediately die. That's so dumb. No, okay, so whenever the controller disconnects, right, you have to restart the entire emulator, and whenever you have to do that, it just kind of gets annoying trying to restart the entire emulator just to get back on the game to play it again, just to have the same thing happen to you a few minutes later. And you have no choice. It just does that, because the emulator, if you could disconnect the controller, you have to restart, because no matter if you plug it back in, turn it back on, whatever you do, it will never work again until you actually, hold on, correction, I have got it to work again like 2 to 3 times, but that's about it. Other than that, it's never worked again for me. So you pretty much have to restart the entire emulator, and that gets pretty much annoying, because every time it happens you have to restart. So sometimes you can lose your progress in your game if you don't save state, or you just have to restart the game every single time, and it just kind of becomes a common occurrence. It just kind of becomes annoying, especially when you get like really far in a game and I imagine if you were using the simulator to speed run, and you know, randomly out of nowhere, your controller just was like, nah, we're gonna disconnect. If you use a wired controller, the batteries die or something like that. Imagine that. You just have to restart the whole game, and there's really nothing you can do about it. You're just kind of screwed. And that gets annoying every single time I want to play Sega Saturn. And the thing is, the Saturn is my favorite console. I want to play it all the time, but I'm deterred from playing it because of that very reason, because I don't want to have to continuously restart. Like, I've already had to do it 2 times in this video, and that is annoying. It's more annoying than anything else to have to do that multiple times in a video. It's annoying, and I don't want to have to keep doing that. But we're going to move on from that problem, because another problem this emulator has is compatibility. Now, compatibility with this emulator is okay for the most part. You can play most of the bigger games you want to play, you know, your Daytona USAs, your Sonic R's, Virtua Fighter 2s, Sega Rallies, Panzer Dragoon sagas, and things like that. But like, with other stuff, it just has an extremely bad time with certain games. Like, certain games just won't work at all, or certain games will give you the appearance of working, but then never work. Like, okay, this is the main reason I made this video. Doom for the Sega Saturn. I was under the impression I was going to make this video for like 2 to 3 weeks now. I was ready. I really wanted to make this video and get it out for you guys, because it was just something I've always wanted to experience and try for myself. And I got the game, right, and I did a little test, and I did a test on it before I did the video, but I didn't actually play the game. I just clicked on it to make sure it works, you see what I'm saying, and it worked, okay, it works just fine. But when you actually try to play the game, you want to know what happens? When you actually try to play the game, so you press start, you choose Doom 1, and you hop into the game, you get a black screen, and you can't move. The game just soft locks every time. I tried getting different versions of the game, different regions of the game, it doesn't matter. The game will soft lock every single time, and that's annoying. And I know you can't get a full list of compatibility for games, and I'm not saying that, and I know, again, games will have problems, but it is kind of annoying when you plan to do a video. And also, it's mostly on me too, because I should do more testing when I do a video, and I already test so many things before I do a video, from the audio to, you know, to make sure it's actually recording or something like that, to make sure my controller works and everything, because I've had so many different problems over my time making videos that I always do a test just to make sure. But it's like, Doom is one of those games that I expect to work, but it doesn't. It just soft locks. Certain other games just soft lock. Other games won't work at all. Some games let you get on the menu, some let you press start, some even let you play the freaking first level, giving the appearance of them working, and then it just crashes. And it's just kind of annoying. Like I said, it is annoying to have to, you know, pretty much think of a whole new video on the spot, because I had to make another video, so I had to think of one on the spot because the game didn't work. That is so annoying and so stupid. And that doesn't just happen with this emulator, that happens with a lot of emulators. And like I said, I understand you can't get a full compatibility list of titles ever. You could never hope to have such a thing. It's just, it would be magical, but it's just like, man, it's just so annoying when it does happen. It kind of ruins your whole day, and sometimes even your recording session as a whole, because you either have to think of something different, or, you know, figure out something else. And I tried to figure out something else. I'm going to do some more looking for another Sega Saturn emulator, a more recent one, even like a newer one, because this one right here is just like, it's so outdated and old. And why is my bike not moving? It's so outdated and old, and I'm just ready to get rid of it now, man. Because like I said, Sega Saturn Emulation has been Sega Saturn Emulation has been receiving a boost in quality recently. Oh, poor dude. Has been getting a boost in quality lately from what I've seen online. And it's like, okay, I'm still on this old emulator that just acts stupid. Another problem is, and I've seen this happen with only this emulator as well, and it's the audio problems. So you're playing the game, right? And it's happening right now. You're playing the game, and eventually you'll start hearing like this crackling static sound. I don't know if you've ever if the viewers out there are old enough to remember CRT TVs. I am, obviously, because I still had some up till recently. But it's like, okay, if you are old enough to remember having I forgot what they're called, CIA, what are they called? You know, a TV, a box TV. I just called them by their name, and now I can't even remember. But yeah, if you're old enough to have an old TV, you know, a square TV with big old glass screens, CRT. If you're old enough to have an old CRT TV, you'll know that if you have nothing connected to it, it makes this static sound. So like if you don't have cable connected or satellite or a game console / DVR or VHS player, something like that, if you don't have anything connected to it, it makes a static sound. Well, that same annoying sound will play after a while playing Sega Saturn games, and it ruins the whole experience. And it just does that every single time. Oh, there it is! You can hear it. I know you can, because it happens. I'm in the grass. And there it is, what I was talking about. There it is, and the problem is, right? The problem is, look, we're gonna take this time because I'm getting ready to end this video anyway. I'm gonna go ahead and exit out of the emulator, fully close the emulator, and open up OBS. And guess what? You can still hear it. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn down the desktop audio for you guys, so you can't hear it. But that same sound will happen every single time until I restart my PC. And that sound is so annoying, and it gets on my freaking nerves, man. Certain emulator things just really get to me. Like I said, I love emulation. I am a big emulation fan. I believe it is the future of retro gaming as a whole, as consoles start to age and corrode, or capacitors starting to bust, or different things going out the window in these old consoles. I mean, just for an example, right? And I hate to bring up Nintendo, but the N64 just turned 25 years old yesterday. 25. These consoles are aging quick. They're aging quick and at a fast pace, and the already rare consoles are starting to become virtually extinct. Okay, so emulation will be the future of retro gaming, whether you like it or not. Personally, it just will, because you know there's always going to be those companies out there like Nintendo, never willing to give us what we want. You know what I'm saying? Like take the stupid Nintendo Switch Online and how it's now getting Sega Genesis games and N64 games. Why can't you just give me a virtual console? Sure, but then I'm still okay. Sure, you could say okay, but getting those games for free is cool. You're not getting them for free. You're paying $20 for them every month. But no, that's not the main problem. The main problem of it is they have to continuously wait to give us these games. Like, okay, we should have had a full NES catalog. The Wii U had all this stuff. We should have had that already on the Switch. It's just so annoying. So emulation will be the future of gaming, but when it has problems like this, it's just kind of annoying. And I just wanted to talk about this because I tried to do Doom, it didn't work. And if this video came off as rambling or just like going on randomly to you, I'm sorry, but this was just kind of a video I wanted to make really quickly based off of what just happened. So Doom for Sega Saturn as of now is officially canceled until I can figure out something. You know, maybe I get a new emulator and the video might come out, but that's why I didn't release today, because of that reason, and you're getting this instead. That being said though, if you're new here, if you could subscribe, that'd be really awesome. We're trying to reach 300 subscribers, and you'd be helping us out a lot. Make sure to share this video with your friends to become a Super Slayer. I've been the world's coolest Sega enthusiast, SEGASLAYER64, and until next time, have a good one, Slayers.